Hello, my loves. Happy Friday. I love Fridays, don't you? So today we're going to talk about something that plagues my life, might plague a lot of yours, but it is that silent killer anxiety. Yeah. So what is anxiety to me? It's a bunch of things. It's making a situation bigger in my head than it is in reality. It's physical symptoms. It's, overthinking. It's a whole slew of things. It's definitely been a hindrance in my life to an extent, because there are a lot of times where I would feel panicky or a nervous feeling or doom and gloom, and I didn't know what was going on. And I knew logically, rationally, there's no reason I should be feeling this way, but I couldn't help it. My mind couldn't help it, and my body couldn't help it. And in undergrad is when I started having anxiety attacks that put me in the hospital because I didn't know what was going on with me. I think the first anxiety attack I ever had bad anxiety attack I ever had was in college. I was hanging out with my friends all day, we were having a good time, and then I get back to my room and my chest starts hurting. And then I start getting like a tingling sensation down my left arm, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm having a heart attack. Which I laugh about now, but at the time it was really scary because I was in my room alone and all these things were happening to my body that had never happened before. I called my sister's boyfriend at the time, and he was able to pick me up and take me to the hospital. Now, this happened a couple times over the year and into my sophomore year, where the hospital, they couldn't tell me. One time they said I had excessive acid in my stomach and lungs, and that freaked me out, as you can imagine. So I went back to my primary care doctor after I'd had I was pulling at least 2 to 3 all-nighters a week, which in the grand scheme of things isn't healthy. But I had between 1 and 6 papers due every day on top of my other assignments. So I was just constantly up and not the best at time management, clearly. So my primary doctor told me, she was like, yeah, you have anxiety. And I'm like, I didn't think that was a serious or a thing that could really impact you the way it was impacting me. And it's been something over the years that I've been struggling to deal with, because in your mind, I know at least for me, I'm like, I should be stronger than this. I should be able to get through this. I should be able to tell myself everything's going to be okay. But sometimes it's really not that simple. So the way that anxiety impacts me, or at least has impacted me over time, is the fact that it's taken me longer to do things that probably it shouldn't have taken me as long. Let's say the bar exam, for example. I just passed the bar, really excited, but it took me 7 times. I passed on my 7th time. Why did it take me 6 times previously or 7 times previously? Every single time I would sit down to study for this test, my mind went to 100 places. I started having, tightness in my chest, which I'd be good for some time, but there were a lot of times where I would just panic. I remember panicking before my LSAT. I remember panicking during a lot of my law school exams. And to be honest, I couldn't tell you why. I knew it was just a test. I knew these were just exams. I knew this was just school. I've been in school my whole life, so, it's just a natural progression. I should be able to take this exam, but sometimes when things are just so important to me, I put that extra stress on myself that I have to be perfect. I have to get this right. I can't fail. I can't let other people down. I can't let myself down. I put all that added stress, and then all of a sudden I'm having an anxiety attack, and you shut down for maybe a day or so. So how have I reduced my anxiety over the years? Acknowledging it. Huge thing. you wouldn't think if I talk about stuff out loud or if I talk it through with somebody else, it's gonna help, because I used to think that for a time, hey, talking isn't gonna make it any better. Why would I talk this through? It's just gonna bring it out into the universe and it's just gonna make everything worse. Not the case. And that was, again, my anxiety talking. Through law school, I started talking to a therapist, working through a lot of my issues from childhood, which a lot of my anxiety stemmed from. And it got worse before it got better, but I realized that all of these issues that were causing my anxiety was because I was holding everything in. A lot of times people see a bubbly, happy, Khadijah, and that's not always indicative of how I'm feeling on the inside. A lot of times I would hide all my frustrations and anger and irritations because I just didn't feel like I should show it. Which, again, an unhealthy behavior. Had to acknowledge that and realize that it's okay to not be bubbly. It's okay to not be positive all the time, but you can still understand that, hey, even though things suck right now, they're gonna get better. Doesn't mean you have to have the best attitude while going through it, but you do have to know that, yeah, I gotta get through this and I will get through this. Another way I attack my anxiety is that, I tell myself that, hey, every time I have a negative thought, which is something that my coach helped me with, they're called red light, green light thoughts. Every time I have a negative thought, I immediately tell myself a positive one after that. So it's like, hey, what if things go wrong? Or what if I fail this exam? Then I tell myself, you've been studying for X amount of hours. What if you pass? What if all the work that you've been doing allows you to be successful? So it's just like we train our bodies physically, and we're constantly working out and tearing our bodies down in order to get stronger. We have to exercise our minds in the same way in order to make our minds stronger. It's okay to acknowledge that you have issues. It's okay to say, hey, I have anxiety, but you have to also work through it just like you work through a lot of the other problems in your life. And that was something that I struggled with because I would try to avoid it and I would try to distract from it. And while distracting works for a time, it's not the solution. The solution is figuring out, or at least for me, what is causing these emotions and these feelings, acknowledging all those feelings, and then telling myself, hey, let's figure out how to address those things. So that's my little take on anxiety. I'm sure we will have more videos on it because anxiety is not this cut and dry, black and white thing. It's difficult. It's ongoing. It's something that I've struggled with my whole life, and I know will probably be a struggle for the rest of my life, but it does get better and it's more manageable, and I'm able to do things to mitigate how bad my anxiety attacks get when I do have them. So thank you for joining in today. I'd love it if you guys could subscribe, like, comment on the bottom, and next video I'm going to talk about jiu-jitsu. I'm sure you guys will love that. I love it, so I hope you guys do too. Have a great weekend, everyone.